So this is from Scrabble Eddie over on the Reddit subsection. By the way, our Reddit subsection is just reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. If you want, you can drop articles for me in that Reddit subsection. I check it out every morning, and that's how we build the show. I'm seeing everything for the first time. We're getting our news on together. You guys know the drill. And if there's some newcomers, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great 2020 so far. But this is something Michael Hudson wrote. Michael Hudson, of course, is an economist and a darn good one. And I love hearing that guy speak. He has a way, and you'll see this, it comes through in his writing too. He has a way of really breaking stuff down in a manner that it's very digestible and easy to understand. He is an academic, but he doesn't intentionally talk over people's heads, which, by the way, I used to be in academia. I have a master's. When people talk over other people's heads, it's on purpose. I'm sorry. Like it's just full stop. It's on purpose. If you're in the sciences or something, that's different. Like if you're a biochemist or something like, but even that, like I have a cousin who is a biomedical engineer. He went to Johns Hopkins for it. It's one of the most competitive programs ever. It's insanely competitive. They recruit you when you are a freshman in college and you stay through your PhD. That's how extensive it is and how competitive it is. So basically, when he was 17 or 18 years old, however old he was when he was a freshman, they recruited him to be there until he was in his early 30s. And he signed up for that program, and he made it through. And not everybody makes it through, as I'm sure you all can imagine. But even he can explain what he does in a manner that the general person can understand it. And my family gives him crap sometimes, where they're just like, oh man, don't even ask him. And I'm like, do you actually listen to him? He actually explains it in a very concise way where I wouldn't be able to repeat it. You know what I mean? Like if you were like, well, explain it to us right now, Ron, I'd be like, dude, I need to talk to him again. You know what I mean? But he can explain it to me, like what he does, in a way that's like, I get it. You know what I mean? So my point is, when an academic is talking over your head, it's on purpose and it's deliberate. They don't have to do that. They choose to. Michael Hudson is very good at just laying it out in a manner that it's very easy to digest and understand. And here's an awesome article that he wrote in Scrabble Eddie. Thank you for putting this in our Reddit subsection. America escalate its democratic oil war in the Near East. Oh, wait. So wait, you mean we might have not... I thought we assassinated that guy because he posed a direct threat to us. That's somehow a mystery. I thought he was public enemy number 2, even though nobody had ever heard of the guy. He was a big enemy. I thought that all of the rehashing of the Iraq soundtrack was legitimate and it was just coincidence. That's what I thought. You're telling me this is about oil? Oh man, now I'm intrigued. So Michael Hudson making the bold proclamation that this is all about oil. Crazy, right? America escalates its democratic oil war in the Near East. Democratic, in quotes, reasonably so. Mainstream media are carefully, I would call it corporate media, small disagreement, right? I mean, I know that's not a big deal, but I don't think we should use the term mainstream media. I think we should call it the corporate media, because there's nothing mainstream about the corporate media. It does not reflect the people that live in the United States. Something mainstream would actually reflect the views of general people. The corporate media does not do that. It reflects the interest of corporations. Our corporate media is not news and information. It is Comcast-approved public relations. That's all it is. All right. So anyway, the corporate media are carefully sidestepping the method behind America's seeming madness in assassinated Qasem Soleimani to start the new year. Logic behind the assassination, as we know. Okay, so we know the logic that the corporate media gave us. But here's what's really going on. The assassination was intended to escalate America's presence in Iraq. Why? So we could keep control of the region's oil reserves. Why else? And to back Saudi Arabia's Wahhabi troops, ISIS, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, al-Nusra, and other divisions of what are actually America's Foreign Legion, to support U.S. control of Near Eastern oil as a buttress of the U.S. dollar. That remains the key to understanding this policy and why it is in the process of escalating, not dying down. In other words, it's all about oil, and it's all about them using our dollar for the transport and exchange of oil. That's what it's really about. And Al-Qaeda, I mean, keep in mind, ISIS, this guy who we assassinated was fighting ISIS. ISIS, sometimes United States doesn't like ISIS. Other times, depending on the country ISIS is up against, we like ISIS, the United States. And when I say we, I don't mean we, I mean the United States government, the war machine. They like ISIS when it's convenient. And they arm and fund both sides when it's convenient to their bottom line, which is oil and gas and the petrodollar. We're the bad guys here. This is in summary, we're the bad guys. We are I mean, there's other bad guys too. We're not the only bad, but we're the bad guys. All right, let's see what else is in here. I sat in on discussions of this policy as it was formulated nearly 50 years ago when I worked at the Hudson Institute. This is Michael Hudson speaking, by the way, not me, and attended meetings at the White House, met with generals, blah, blah, blah. My role was a balance of payments, economist, having specialized for a decade at Chase Manhattan. The media and public discussion have diverted attention from this strategy by floundering speculation that President Trump did it, except to counter the non-threat of impeachment with a wag the dog attack, or to back Israeli liberation drives, or simply to surrender the White House to neocon hate Iran syndrome. In other words, they're trying to tell you that Trump just did this because he wanted a distraction. And, you know, there were those tweets that Trump put out a while back where he's like, Barack Obama is going to try to cause a war with Iran to get reelected. And, you know, it's a noteworthy thing. But this goes beyond Donald Trump. The main point of this paragraph, it goes way beyond Donald Trump. Don't make it out like this is just Donald Trump's thing. It is. Donald Trump is certainly responsible. Donald Trump is certainly a warmonger, even though he said he wasn't going to be. His whole claim of being a non-interventionist, that was all a bunch of baloney. And that needs to be emphasized. However, this ain't Donald Trump working alone. This is part of a long-time neocon plan that has been in effect for over 20 years now. Donald Trump is just another willing participant. So for people who have Trump derangement syndrome and think that this is just about Trump trying to distract people from impeachment, and once we get rid of Trump, everything's going to be hunky-dory, well, that's nonsense. Because we had the war machine long before Trump got here. George W. Bush was a willing participant, and so was Barack Obama, and now Trump is as well. On the other hand, those of you who entertain the fantasy that Trump is somehow different, that Trump was some non-interventionist, that Trump is actually some kind of outsider, he isn't, he wasn't, he never was. He's just another warmonger who's just shaped by whoever he surrounds himself with. And who does he surround himself with? The same warmongers everyone else did. The John Boltons of the world, the Pompeos of the world. That's what Donald Trump does. Yeah, he had disagreements with people. He fires people left and right. But he's the same. So, no, Donald Trump is no different. Donald Trump is no outsider. He never was. It was a lie. All right. So, let's see here. And he goes on to talk about the history of the dollar. And when people go against the dollar, that's when we need to get in there. That's when we need to get in there. All right. So Michael Hudson laying it out. Michael Hudson laying it out. And I recommend you guys check out that Counterpoint article in its entirety. Check it out entirely in its entirety. Say that 5 times fast. Check it out entirely in its entirety. And thank you again, Scrabble Eddie, for sharing that. Scrabble Eddie, a fun game and a cool name, right? I dig that. Scrabble Eddie.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and